plutonium-related stuff, and uranium, of course, too. My presentation will have a lot of declarative statements simply because of shortness of time. I cannot go into details. And second of all, there is some hands-on ignorance on some of the issues because I was not working with different materials. It's basically coming from general sources. Disclaimer again, whatever I say is my opinion, and it's not associated with anything else but me. With that, I'll be kind of, you hear the word "I" quite often because I'll express my excitement about the nuclear field, and therefore that will be my word. Anyway, as in the title I said, duality of nuclear materials. The nuclear materials have two applications. One is peaceful energy production, but second is weapons. And there is always a play of benefit, risk-benefit, this thing. You have to weigh what is the balance. You take a risk, is it worth the benefit which we take? So from this point of view, in terms of benefit, we clearly see that it's useful. We produce about 100 reactors are running in the United States, pushing out a lot of electricity. People don't talk about it, but it's a huge input into the energy balance. So this is a plus, this is a benefit. In terms of risk, the nuclear proliferation is the issue that will be topic of discussion in all circles of the world. And here we did quite a lot of stuff to prevent or minimize the proliferation. At the same time, the risk of it is still not zero. You probably follow events in the world and you see that there is alarm in this respect. So, excitement, atom. I'm extremely excited about the atom. Atom is a very basic and a very intricate thing. If I was writing or had some input into British, I would probably say that the first thing which was created was atom. Because atom is an extremely balanced and then complicated design. It has a nucleus which is composed of similarly charged particles and protons. And protons push away with each other. So naturally, it wouldn't be stable. So what I did, he introduced nuclear powers, which are very short range. If you are able to push together the protons, the nuclear forces take over and pull them together despite repulsion, which is huge, which is tremendous. And that's what keeps it stable. And there is a cloud of electrons spread around the nucleus, which makes the atom. So the equation doesn't matter. So what happened at time zero? Time zero to me. Okay. Time zero to me it's creation when the world was created. I associate it in my mind with Big Bang, which is a common word nowadays. At that time, the energy which got created. I don't think that anybody could answer you exactly how it happened. But at that time, the energy was so huge in a small location that the pressures and temperatures were so high that they were able to push together the protons so they could stick together because of nuclear forces. This condition will never be reproduced, as my understanding. So we'll not be able to create atoms, and they are extremely stable. Well, let's move. So nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion is the key word in nuclear weapons and nuclear energy devices. What happens is that we are lucky enough that two atoms, two nuclei, were unstable and were could be split into two parts. What happens is that when a neutron hits the nucleus, the fusion occurs, and the nucleus splits into two pieces. And what makes them, what creates the energy is the huge repulsing force between these two pieces, which fly away, and that's what basically creates the heat which we utilize, or the bombs utilize. It's pure, simple electrical forces which actually are releasing the energy. So the atom in stable condition is extremely tense. So there is a lot of tension in it. And that's where the energy is hiding, in this tension. So once you release it, the tension is released and the energy goes out into the world. There's a time zero. Over time, after Big Bang, the entire periodic table was created over time. Definitions for nuclear materials. There are two elements which are used in nuclear production or in weapons: uranium and plutonium. There are different isotopes. Isotope is a slightly different nucleus, which has different number of neutrons. It doesn't change its chemical properties, but nuclear properties are very different. And in terms of fission, there is a vast difference between isotope 235 and isotope uranium-238. 238 is 99.7% of all uranium in the world. So, in order to create a fuel material suitable for nuclear bombs, you have to enrich it to 90% of 235. So you have to go from very, very small number to 90%. This is a huge enterprise, and it requires a lot of technology to separate this little amount of 235 from a huge amount of 238. For plutonium, so this is definition of weapons grade material, enrichment around 90%. You could go with lower, but the bombs will not be as effective. Like 90% is the number. For plutonium, definition of weapons grade plutonium is that it has less than 7% of plutonium-240. Plutonium-240 is a isotope of plutonium which is kind of poison for the purposes of the bomb. It degrades the quality of material. So if you have less than 7%, it is good for the bomb. If it is more than 7%, it's not. So the job of the technicians and scientists to create plutonium-238 with less than 7% of 240. And finally, there is another material which is called tritium. This material is used only in weapons. The first two actually could be used in industry and in the weaponry. Uranium-235 is mostly used in industry and in weapons. Plutonium-239 is mostly used in weapons and less in industry. And tritium is practically all for weapons, and there are some other applications, but they are minor. Now, the making of the materials. You could see uranium-235 is mechanical. This is a mechanical process to separate 235 from 238. And it's done by two methods, diffusion and centrifuge. Centrifuge separation we'll be talking about because that's a technology which Iranians use and most of the people use this technology now. For plutonium, it's different. It's chemical. So for plutonium, to separate it from 240, you have to first extract it from fuel, and this is a very huge chemical process. So the emphasis in plutonium production is chemistry. And tritium is created by neutron bombarding lithium and deuterium. Okay, so I'll not run you through the entire fuel cycle. Fuel cycle is a term used in the industry saying how the material, usable material comes from the ground. So you create U3O8, then you go into gas. UF6 is a gas. It's green. It's green. When the new technicians come to a facility and they ask what is F6, the specialists say, well, it's a green gas. But if you see it, it's too late. It's extremely chemically active and then deadly. Then what you do is you go into the enrichment phase where you push this gas into the centrifuges. Then once you have sufficient enrichment and verified, you go into fuel production and push it into the reactor, which produces energy. And then you reprocess it, and that's a full circle. For plutonium, you have a separate circle. You extract plutonium from used fuel and push it into a fuel which creates a fuel for nuclear power reactors or for military applications. Here I have just a picture of a plant which produces enriched uranium. It is mind-boggling. The scale of this operation is huge. You have tens of thousands of centrifuges. A centrifuge is about something like this in diameter. Here I have a schematic. What it does, it spins at extremely high velocity, speed. I think it's about 10,000 RPM or something even higher, extremely high, which is a vulnerability because all mechanical devices are prone to failure, and this is one of them. They are extremely well balanced because you don't want vibrations at this speeds. And if one fails, it doesn't fail by itself. It destroys a big area around it, basically shutting down the operation. So when we talk about vulnerabilities, this is the biggest vulnerability. Perhaps some country, whoever, will have to be utilized to damage the facility. It's not mechanical. You just drop a bomb and destroy everything. You have to use this vulnerability as a weak point. The plutonium production is an extremely, I call it dirty and green business, because it has two stages. First, you have to have a nuclear reactor which is specifically designed to produce fuel which contains sufficiently high concentration of plutonium. Once it's done, this is a picture of one of US reactors. By the way, at this point we don't produce plutonium. Our problem now is rather to burn it, to destroy it, rather than build it. It was a curious thing. Several years, like 34 years ago, at the peak of Cold War, when plutonium production was again in the town, people were talking about how much we'll produce tomorrow, how much next year. And somebody made like point here, and said, okay, in 10 years we'll be producing 100 tons of plutonium a year. In actuality, it was zero, because at some point you realize that you saturate your needs and you don't need any more. And we came with the end of Cold War. Eventually, that's put stop to production of plutonium, and now we have problems with the Russians. They have plutonium, also excess plutonium. They have to burn it. So we help them to set up mechanisms and facilities to take the plutonium from the nuclear weapons, blend it, mix it with uranium and create a fuel which is used in power reactors. So it's extremely expensive because to produce plutonium, it was huge numbers. It's very expensive. So nobody talks about economics at this point. They talk about how to get rid of plutonium.